Hi, welcome to the Picks and Ponderings video preview of this year's Arlington-Washington Lassie.
Joined alongside Nicolle and Neulist, I'm Mazur, here to preview the 7th on Saturday at Arlington, the Arlington-Washington Lassie, the Philly complement to the Grade 3 Arlington-Washington Futurity.
This one drew a competitive field of 12 horses, 7 winners, 5 maidens, and all but one of them have only started one time, so actually not a lot of on-track form to go on with most of these horses. You have one race, the breeding, and the connections.
That's pretty much what you're playing a progression game here with this year's running of the Arlington-Washington Lassie that has a post time just before 4:30 Central on Saturday afternoon, but with that playing progression game, you've got a 12-horse field. You've also got a race that appears to have speed, and plenty more speed.
Oh, it could very easily fall apart. You've got 4 horses who won their maidens on or near the front end, 3 who just did right on the front end. Spirituality at least set off a little bit at the beginning, but you've got plenty of speed, and I was definitely looking for some horses who had proven that they could chase and run them down. I mean, I apologize, my selection in the Lassie this year is sponsored by the Crayola Sidewalk Chalk Company, and that is the Stidham A in this race, the number 7 Diadura. Diadura debuted at Arlington, going 5 furlongs on the poly track, and went off favored, was one of 2 uncoupled Stidhams there as well, but went off the favorite and ran to it. Was pretty well off the pace early, and even though speed tends to carry in those 5 furlong baby races at Arlington, she ran down Pure Blarney in time and showed some maturity there, was able to scrape the paint a little better than your average 2-year-old tends to, and had to dig in and work for it, but she got there, and a repeat of that makes her competitive, and a step forward from that makes her really competitive.
Diadura has a license to take a step forward, as do so many in this field, because of the fact that all but Hide and Seek Sally are second-time starters. For my pick in the Arlington-Washington Lassie, I want you to stop me if you've heard me before. Stop me if you've heard me before. A horse trained by Ingrid Mason.
Stop.
You're gonna stop me right now? Okay. A horse trained by Ingrid Mason, who comes into the Arlington-Washington Lassie as a maiden.
Stop.
And is owned by Rags Racing Stable.
Stop!
If you can see you might be able to see where this is going.
The only thing we're missing is hashtag Julio of the day.
Well, it's Edgar Perez. It's Edgar Perez aboard. It's Edgar Perez aboard, not Julio Felix. Not Julio Felix, who rode this 2-year-old last time. And that's number 4, Sister Can. Ingrid Mason has trained the last 2 winners of the Arlington-Washington Lassie, Quality Rocks in 2014, Marquis Miss in 2015. Marquis Miss came into last year's Arlington-Washington Futurity as a maiden and graduated in the Lassie, and turned out to acquit herself fairly well in early spring races at both 1 and 3. Both Marquis Miss, she's owned by Rags Racing Stable, like Quality Rocks and Marquis Miss, trained by Ingrid Mason. The breeding on this one suggests that 7 furlongs is not a problem. Keeping in mind that we've got Indian Charlie is a fine breeder or sire for 1-turn miles and extended 1-turn sprints. Sister Can is by Cantharos. This is the same.
Cantharos just got his promotion to Kentucky today.
And that promotion is well deserved, considering that Cantharos had horses who hit the board in both of the recent Florida Sire Stakes series at 7 furlongs down at Gulfstream. So while Cantharos got his promotion to the big time at the Kentucky Stud Farm.
And even looking at Illinois, there's the one Illinois bred stakes winner by Cantharos, Wildwood Cantharos. It wasn't 7 furlongs, but it was the Purple Violet at the 1-turn mile.
So the idea that so the idea that Cantharos can throw a horse that, even though Cantharos never raced beyond 6, we've seen that Cantharos is fine for an extended sprint. We're getting a 15-to-1 morning line quote on Sister Can, and Sister Can brings in 3 qualities that I like to see in a horse going second time out: a trouble chart line, a positive chart line, and ground closed in the last call. Let's look at Sister Can. The chart comment: hopped at the start. There's our negative comment. A trouble comment: rally, but then rally between a more positive comment. And this one moved from 6 behind 5 1/4 on the stretch call to finishing 4th beat 3 1/4 in that race in late August at Arlington. Those are three things that I like to look for in a second time starter, and I like to look for them because they show professionalism and they show a chance at progression. Sure, Diodora won the first time out, but while Diodora has a license to move forward from start 1 to start 2, there's a better chance that Sister Can's going to move forward from start 1 to start 2 because start 1 perhaps gave more foundation and gave a lower speed takedown. It's for those reasons, as well as the fact that maybe start 1 was educational. That's why I'm looking at Sister Can in the Arlington-Washington Lassie.
Behind Diodora, the ones that I've got slotted are the number 9, Spirituality, and the number 11, Arnaha. The number 9, Spirituality, you look at the line in the past performances, you see one thing, but you watch the replay and you see something just a little bit different. You look at the line here and it says, okay, second by a head at the first call, first by 2, running off with it. But if you watch, she did spend a pretty good amount of time stalking the pace before she ran off. And yeah, she was just better than this bunch at Delaware. That said, a couple things to like about that. I did like that she sat off for a while before deciding to turn on the afterburners. I like the fact that she broke her maiden going 6. With all these horses here who, went 5, 5.5, I like that she's at least shown herself at 6. And if you look at the owners here, they have a pretty vested interest in going somewhere quickly with these gemologist babies. She's owned by Windstar Farm, and who stands at their stud farm? Gemologist.
And I believe Windstar also campaigned gemologist in his 2 and 3-year-old career.
They campaigned gemologist, who's gemologist sire, Tisnow, who again they got a little bit of an interest in. So they want a stakes winner for gemologist, and I'm pretty sure they picked this because it's a spot they thought she could do it. And then third, I've got slotted Arnaha. Arnaha is actually the Stidham B to Diodora's Stidham A. Arnaha came out of that same race that Paul was talking about, was second in the race where Sister Can was 4th, going 5.5 on the all-weather. Arnaha's a maiden, that's the only start. I like the fact that Mitchell Murrell is hopping aboard. Stidham's typical A jockey, so then again, Diodora's got Carlos Marquez, who's obviously no slouch, but it's always good to see Mike Stidham and Mitchell Murrell together. I like the fact that Arnaha came from mid-pack and was running, got hung wide, but stayed engaged, kept trying, dug in, and got that second behind well-bet Wesley Ward contender Silly Factor. Second, beaten 2.5, but I liked that gameness that Arnaha showed late to get that second place finish. And if Arnaha takes a step forward from that, particularly given the fact that she'll get something to chase again here, probably even more to chase here than she got last out, Arnaha looks interesting despite being a maiden.
Nothing wrong with taking a maiden. I'm doing that for my third choice. I slotted second number 7, Diodora, who is Nicole's top pick. C.H. Marquez Jr. is a ride for Mike Stidham. Again, these are humans you can know and trust. My issue with Diodora is maybe while Sister King can make a progression from start 1 to start 2, maybe Diodura doesn't make as much of a progression from start 1 to start 2, considering that she won on debut, only 5 on the Arlington Valley. Plus, keep in mind that they went really quick in that race, opening split of 21 and change. They say they went sub 46 to the half. Maybe they don't. Maybe they go as quick in here. But what happens if they don't go as quick? Maybe Diodura is put closer to the pace if they go, say, 22 and change and 7. So with Diodura, while she makes sense as a defensive use, you have to wonder what happened in that. You have to wonder what happened in that first start. Granted, 7 furlongs is going to be fine for Diodura, being she's by herdsmen who won a King's Vision once upon a time. But given the fact I'm playing a progression game, I'm more apt to take a horse at 5 times the morning line, and that's Sister Can. That Diodura does deserve mention defensively. For third, I'm going to slot number 3, and that's Richie's Dream Girl. 15 to 1 on the morning line, no official to ride for Larry Raffelli. Death Taxes and Larry Raffelli firing first out of the Arlington 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
Those things, now...
These you can depend on.
They are things you can depend on. Second start, however, that dependency starts to wane. Yes, Raffelli can get them to fire first out, but what about second? What about third? Sometimes you have to take a stand and see. But then again, we've seen it with Big Dom the Bomb last year. Sometimes that 2-year-old form can carry. Maybe it carries with Richie's Dream Girl, but it is worth noting she's not going to get a free ride on the front end. Not with Royalty Princess in that field. Not with Spirituality. Not with hide and seek. Not with the list can go on and on of a myriad of pacemakers. But one thing to like with Richie's Dream Girl, the running Spitestown sideline.
Yeah, I think with your third pick and my long shot, we're going with, okay, if it turns into a game of chicken, or if one of these speeds hangs around, who's it gonna be? Paul, you like Richie's Dream Girl. With my long shot, I went with the rail-drawn horse, and that is the number 1, Royalty Princess. Usually don't love 2-year-olds on the rail too much, but been there, done that. Royalty Princess, she drew the rail on her debut, shot out, and took the field gate to wire. And I think that I don't think she's going to get that easy run on the front end, but if it's really biased for speed, if it turns into a game of chicken, I don't think Royalty Princess has any shot with this rail draw other than trying to do what she did last time with sending to the front end and taking him around, and I think she's going to be a little lost in the betting with some of these other options here. Horses like Diodura, horses like Spirituality, and we know Polytrack's a question, but one thing we do know is that she's a very competent 2-year-old trainer behind her, Wayne Catalano, who knows how to win a 2-year-old race, knows how to win at Arlington. I'm not worried at all about the stretch out from 5 to 7 for Royalty Princess by hat trick out of an unbridled song mare. Polytrack's a bit of a question, but I feel she's been working well enough on it that she has every shot to do it. It's not crazy to think a hat trick's going to take to the Polytrack. Think Fire Tricks, who was owned by the same, bred and owned by the same folks who own Royalty Princess, and she's a stakes winner on the Polytrack.
Royalty Princess makes some sense, and keep in mind that Wayne Catalano has won this race before. She won this race before when she did well, and what to do with a 2-year-old. Either Jennifer, Libby Wild, or Solitary Ranger coming to mind. For my long shot on the Arlington-Washington Lassie, I'm going to go back to the same angle that I espoused when I talked about who I thought would win the Arlington-Washington Lassie, which is playing the progression game, and that is looking for those 3 things. Remember, trouble charcoal, positive charcoal, and ground closed at the stretch. Another horse who has those things is number 2, Princess Limited. 30 to 1 on the morning line, and with deep Hollis training and danger. Olaf Hernandez riding, whose rides are sometimes not, as his initials, okay.
Then again, the Pulos, it's not like she hasn't booted a 2-year-old to a maiden victory in the stakes before. Go to Dreamcatcher. Sorry, had a little something in my throat there.
It's okay. It's okay. But depots can. But as she mentioned, depots can pop a bomb in the 2-year-old races. And if this race has a pace that's hot, maybe Princess La Quinta is the one that runs them down. She made a good closing run, going 5 furlongs the last time at Arlington. Went from 8th behind 7 and change to 5th behind less than 4 lengths in her maiden start in August. Yeah, I know the Olaf Hernandez is a bit of a concern.
Olaf is the reason I couldn't pull the handle putting Princess La Quinta anywhere. Everything else about her, I'm like, this is intriguing. There's somewhere forward to go from here. But I would trust progression a little better if any other jockey were in the irons.
But considering that this one's quoted at 30 to 1 on the morning line,
will be every penny of that.
and considering that there's a chance of the pace meltdown, and considering this one's coming in with the same progression angle as Sister King, maybe it's time to take a swing with OK Hernandez and take Princess La Quinta as my long shot.
She'll be the right odds. I can't talk you off that. So, just to wrap things up in this year's edition of the Arlington-Washington Lassie, I like the number 7, Diodora, the number 9, Spirituality, and the number 11, Arnaha, with Rail-Drawn Royalty Princess as my long shot.
For me in the Arlington-Washington Lassie, the 7th at Arlington in the front half of the All Stakes 2-year-old double that closes out the card. I like number 4, Sister Can, at 15 to 1 in the morning line, is the top choice. Number 7, Diodora, the 3 to 1 morning line favorite, slot at 2nd. And number 3, Richie's Dream Girl, at 15 to 1, slot at 3rd. And long shot being 30 to 1, maybe another 0 in there. Princess La Quinta, number 2, with Olaf Hernandez to ride.
Thank you for watching, and good luck in the Arlington-Washington Lassie.
Thank you for watching.